Yo, wait, what? That's more like it. How's it going, folks? Movies, Scorpio. How's it going? How's it going, folks? How we doing? How are we doing? Managed to find a little bit of time today outside of, let's just say, my busy evening, and I thought I'd jump on and hang out a little, talk about some cool stuff. So, how is everyone today? What are we doing? Anyone in line for a toaster? I don't believe this is real. Hey, Zachary. I don't want to believe this. I actually want one now. Why is this a real thing? Hey, Rabbi. But no, really, why is this a real thing? What's up, Rabbi? How are you today? Man, oh man. Marlon Gaming is angry? I'll buy the toaster. Sorry. We'll save that for tomorrow, Rabbi. You just bought your Series S Walmart toaster. Rabbi, we'll save that for tomorrow. I'll find what's there and we'll think. You know what? I actually want one. I'm just trying to convince the missus to because she got me the Xbox fridge, and I'm like, yeah, but it's a single. Oh, they do have a double toaster as well. Wait, why is it a single there and a double there? I'm so confused. That doesn't fit two toasts. That fits one. I'm guessing there's two models. Stalker's been ready to preload for ages. It's just a 200 megabyte file. Hey, buddy, Zap, I got my mini fridge right here. I got that ages ago. Well, GTA 6 on the next gen consoles is going to be 30 FPS. I just don't see it being. If it looks like that, I'll be surprised if it can run Rabbi at 30 FPS. I'm okay with 30 FPS on consoles. At the end of the day, when it comes to next generation consoles, they're not really next gen anymore. They're kind of like old. And as you know, as developers are pushing that tech, I mean, that GTA 6 trailer that we saw, that was on PC. That wasn't running on the Series X or the PS5. That was on PC. No way. And if that was in real engine, no way the consoles can do that. Not even the PS5 Pro. It's not possible. It ain't happening. It's just not a thing. 1440p 1080p upscale to 4K, maybe 60. Nope. It's going to be below 1080p. It's going to have a metric ton to render. I'm guessing the draw distance is going to be huge. Unless they physically block off the distance of what you can see, it's going to be below 1080p. And to be fair, a lot of the games we've been having recently, I think even Alan Wake is running below 1440p. You know, it's but the thing is, I don't think consoles, even next generation, are going to hit 4K 60. All right, Rabbi has been talking about this. G-Mania, you're talking about this. Do you know what? I wanted to save that till tomorrow because I did have a plan for today because I only want to be live for about an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes because I've got to finish a video. I know I think Sanchez, you've already seen it. Or either you or Ozzy's seen it, but damn, the wife was savage. Definitely look out for that video, folks, because she was savage. And let me know if you want her to be in the videos a little more. Right. Question. Do you lot want me to check out, is it a stream that Marlon is doing, or is it an actual video that I can react to? No, Steve. No, it really won't. Not unless they reduce the graphical fidelity. If they're pushing the graphics to the very best it can be, there's a sacrifice for that. And that is the frame rate. That's the frame rate and the resolution, right? If you're going for 4K with max fidelity, path tracing, you're not doing 60 FPS. Not on these consoles. You'll be lucky to do 30. Remove path tracing, you might get 40 with VRR. You might be able to do something, but you're not getting native 60. Dude, even the graphics cards on PCs right now with 3090 Ti's, you know, we're talking like $2,000 PCs are barely hitting 4K 60. 2K is the happy medium. Once you go into the 40 series graphics cards, then you're quite easily hitting, you know, the 4080, 4090. You're hitting that 4K 60, you know, without breaking a sweat. But the 30 series graphics cards, there are games that even they can't hit. And the 3090 is, I think, what, 1,200 quid right now? And you want a £500 console to do it? Nah, it's not happening. Mate, I heard the PS5 can do 12K. 12K! So, there's that. Have you seen this? Man, them ponies been going salty! I will, Rebby. I will. But so, Baldur's Gate 3. Officially the best place to play is on the Xbox with a 99 Metacritic. It's tied with Ocarina of Time. And these guys are very, very upset that it's got a 99 and they've got a 96. That said, I'm also being hunted by Larry and White Knight, so if anything happens to me, you know it was them. Because they've been out for blood for me today all day. They literally on Twitter, they've been out for blood. Out for blood. Did you see this? Anyone see this? So PlayStation released showed a tweet with Yakuza 0, Kiwami 2, and all of these, and they had like, you know, all of them are on sale. And they put, I think you can get like the whole collection for like, I think $30. Hey, what's up, Brandon? And so Xbox UK said, hey, you can also play all of these for free on Game Pass. Oh god, that was funny. That was funny. Xbox can be, you know, the actual tweet channel on Xbox, they can be goddamn brutal. All right. You guys said there's Marlon Gaming. Ishin is either on like a dragon. I'm pretty sure Ishin is already on there, or it's coming this year. All right. What's the video? If it's his live stream, you don't want me to check out the live stream? What's gonna sell? No audio? Oh no. Why isn't it working? It is not showing? I'm just trying to sort it. I think I had too many browsers open. It's about to be sorted right now. God damn it. Sorry, this was not part of my actual plan today.
Oh, it's gonna be an expensive console.
There we go.
It's good.
Sorry, this wasn't part of the plan. I had something else planned today.
Probably $599 on the higher end.
He thinks it's going to be $599. Is he a joker?
He says the GTA PS5 Pro panels will sell.
He thinks the PS Pro is going to be $599. I said $649.99, and I was being generous. I think it's going to be $699.99. Period.
He says, Evil West, Xbox 30 of his don't and no HER. What are you talking about, Heatwave? He says, I will literally get a job to buy the PS5 Pro. Hey, I feel you. Marlon, social media can't wait for PS5 Pro. They just don't anyone buy it because they're false information. It's crazy. Marty Marr says PS5 Pro will be the last system buy, and I can't wait for the system looks like with games. Yeah, I know. Come out this year. I can't wait. I know. A lot of these
Chris,
people
I'm
that
doing
are
well,
saying whatever
thanks.
they're saying, they're gonna buy it. They're literally gonna buy it. That's the crazy part.
The PS5 Pro will mess them up for PS6.
Says,
I just don't think they need it.
Won't be 60
I don't think they
FPS.
need it.
We'll see, man.
Yeah,
We'll see. We're
Sanchez,
like
I
2
think it's
years
going to be
out.
at around
We'll see.
$700 at
We
least.
will see.
$699.99.
We will see.
I think it's just going to be
That's the
too
crazy
expensive
part.
for most
We
people.
will see.
No, they can't. No way.
Any more questions, any more concerns, feel free to fire away. Make sure you guys subscribe. Get the likes up. Let's see if we can get over 200 likes on the show. I know we could do it. So save your money. PS has been disappointing.
Like, I've got another video that's going to be showing. I mean, I don't actually genuinely believe that they
PlayStation
need
has
it
been a
right now.
disappointment for you, then sorry to hear that, man.
The PS5 is working miracles right now in
Sorry to
terms
hear
of,
that.
performance. And the fact that it's actually,
Said Marlon, what is the release date for Xbox games this year?
doing wonders. And its bus pass-through is actually
Do
pretty
we have
impressive.
a release date for
It
Starfield?
almost reminds me of the time when the Emotion Engine was
I
just,
don't even know when we don't know when
way
Hellblade
ahead of
2
its
is coming
time.
out.
Back then for PCs, the front side bus on PCs, which for those of you who don't know what it is,
apparently the
was
rumor
roughly
is
about
that,
200,
Microsoft
300
is gonna have
megahertz,
another
whereas
Xbox
the
Developer
PlayStation 2
Direct,
was running
and
at
they're gonna shadow drop
2,000
something, so
megahertz.
I don't know what that is going to
The
be.
data transfer was insane.
I don't know what that's going to
It's why the PS2 was, could transfer data so quickly. It was really, really good. The PS5 actually has a similar thing.
Don't know
Instead
what
of
that's gonna be.
128-bit pass-through like PCs have, it has 256. It's basically got double the bandwidth to send data. And as we're going to see
not at
with
all.
what's this called? Cyberpunk.
He said, I'm going to wait to buy Spider-Man
Xbox
2
does struggle with
until I get the Pro. Okay. Smart move.
No, exactly,
Smart
Edward.
move.
Exactly.
It says, yup, and Sony can't
But I think
do a
Xbox also
showcase,
needs
no
to
games, or
start
they're
getting
going
people to
do
utilize
another
the hardware.
third-party show. George, the idea here is that they have a lot of games in development that they've been sitting on for a while. So the only thing that we can do is hope and pray that they show off a lot of those games.
They really think they've got a lot of games that they're
PS5
sitting on.
showcase or the next event that they have. It says them Xbox games got released sometimes. It says you just can't name a year for Sony made game. What the F is we doing here?
There is no lot of games.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Hero Zone, thank you for the hype train, bro. Says, hey, Marlon,
no, that's not going to
sorry,
happen, Sanchez.
I couldn't catch your stream
Sony couldn't
yesterday.
afford that.
Yesterday was my birthday. I'm officially 30 years old. I'm blessed to be alive and gaming. My man, Hero, God bless, man. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, man. Hope all is well. Happy birthday, man.
Anyway,
Happy to hear that, bro. Yeah.
you guys want to continue watching this?
Thank you so much for the super chat.
I think we can come back to this in a
It
little
does help
bit.
out our show so that we can continue to do what we do here for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for the support. Yes, sir. We out here. Thank you so much for the support. Yes, sir. Happy birthday.
All right. So, did you guys see this? Despite the fact that Baldur's Gate is one of the highest selling games of 2023, not a single game, I think outside of Hogwarts Legacy and maybe COD, which clawed its way up, I don't think any other game actually sold as much as Baldur's Gate 3. But Starfield is the most played RPG of 2023 in regards to hours played, despite Baldur's Gate 3 being the most acclaimed. What happened to all these people saying that no one played Starfield? No one, bought Starfield. No one went venturing in Starfield. Everyone played an hour and decided to leave off. Official playtime stats from Bethesda Game Studios and Larian, Starfield is the most played RPG of the year 2023, surpassing the total number of hours spent in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Shattered Stars? Shattered Stars is going to be interesting. Because now that you're Starborn, for those of you that have finished it, I know I'm thinking big, but I wonder if you could actually enter a different solar system entirely, like a different galaxy. That would be interesting. But I'm guessing they're going to bring in new planets that's actually, fulfilled. You're going to have vehicles. And if you've seen what they're modding, it's actually really damn cool. Shattered Space, sorry, yeah. But that's the thing. I reckon they're going to introduce warp engines. Chris, I've got a feeling that the Developers Direct is going to actually appear before. You want to make it? I mean, we all want good games with 60 FPS. The only way we're really going to start seeing consistent 60 FPS is if they start scaling back the textures. I think, we're hitting the limit of where we can go with graphical textures and maintain 60 FPS with a decent resolution. At some point, the scales are going to have to start tipping with resolution going down, with the FPS going up, or they're going to start degrading the graphics a little bit while maintaining the resolution to keep that FPS the same. At the end of the day, they're just £450 consoles, right? They're not £2,000 PCs. Sony doesn't have anything to show. Why waste showcase? New biomes, new ship parts, vehicles. They talked about a new traversal system, so I'm hoping they're talking about actual new actual vehicles that you can put onto your ship. Maybe some of the bigger ships you can actually have like a cargo in there that you can put your vehicle in. That would be actually really damn cool. What's this? The lack of acknowledgement for anything Xbox and Bethesda as no PS release equals pathetic, unfounded drivel. Those who listen and believe not much better than who create. I agree. FSR 3.0 is weird because from everything I've read about it, it needs the game to be running at 60 FPS or close. So unless AMD is changing that, which I hope they do, I don't it'll be interesting to see how FSR 3 can help. But don't forget, FSR 3 is the same as DLSS, right? The more aggressive the FSR and the DLSS, the lower your resolution gets. That's how it does it. You set a target resolution that you want, which is generally below what your monitor is, and then FSR and DLSS upscale your resolution. It lowers it and upscales it at the same time, using AI to give you a better picture than you would normally get. A Starfield MMO would actually be cool. I've always said that Starfield should have been multiplayer. I know people are happy that it's a single player game, but I think going out and exploring those planets with a friend would have vastly improved this game's longevity. You know, to me, it would have blown the floodgates open. Imagine just being able to build a ship with, different turrets. You can get your mates on there. All of you going out. You got one person manning the right turrets, one on the left. You got the pilot in the middle. You got someone else handling the beam cannons. It's so cool, right? It would be amazing. But it's some ways away, if that even is possible. Bethesda has ESO and Fallout 76, so why not a Starfield MMO as well? It's going to take a lot of work, and they need to change the structure of the way they would have to rebuild the game from scratch. That's the problem. All of these seed layouts that they have for the towns, they all have to go. So the planets, the ones that are actually occupied, would need to go. I think they would have to go and get redone. But Star Citizen had it before, Taz. Be cool if we get any footage on announcement on Mandalorian exclusive game in early direct. No, we're not going to get that, Ninja. We're not going to get that. I will be very surprised. I think it is way too early. And even then, I think the Mandalorian game might be for Xbox Next. A 4 to 6 player Millennium Falcon in Starfield would be great. Exactly, right? That's what I'm talking about. Starfield needed multiplayer. A lot of people crucified me when I said this at the beginning. That, it was a massively missed opportunity in not having multiplayer. And, having that multiplayer would have meant you could have enabled PvP and so forth. Or even if you didn't enable PvP. It's just adding an extra element that I feel the game could have benefited so much more. Play Sea of Thieves, it's possible. Oh, nothing is impossible. But every time someone loads into an area, you need to make sure that they're loading into the same seed. If they're not, they can desync and crash. It's a recipe for disaster. It's not as easy as it would be if it was seamless. Like if those buildings and stuff that you're going to were just walk in, walk out, it would be a lot easier. But this still is huge, right? This is huge. And of course, we have the Developers Direct. Now, has anyone seen that Killing game? Because apparently Killing is supposed to be the game that's going to be shadow dropped. And I don't know what you lot think about this. I've not played it, but I this is the twin. What's that company called again? What's that company called? Double Fine. Still wait your response. What was the question? What was the question? When coming PFS? Starfield 60 FPS? I don't know. I think they can do it. I think they should just unlock it. It's a single player game, so it doesn't matter. And just let the frame rate hover between 50 and 60. But it's up to Bethesda at this point. But this doesn't look that... I mean, okay, this screen looks okay. That just looks weird, right? I don't know how you guys feel, but I don't feel like if they shadow drop this like that, Well, the whole grain, the benefits that they did for PC, the patch that they did for PC, which could be applied to consoles, because consoles are essentially PCs anyway. The performance updates that they did could be applied to the Xbox, and running the PC version of Starfield using a graphics card that's almost equivalent to that on the Series X showed a remarkable improvement with the game running consistently, even in cities like Attila, I think it's called, around 50 to 60 FPS. And outside, when you're on the planets, it actually was hitting 60 FPS. I think that's acceptable. If Final Fantasy 16 can release and have the frame rate going from 30 to 60 to 30 to 60 to 30 to 60, making you feel like you're on some weird trip that's going to make your head go boom from vertigo, I think 50 to 60 is acceptable. Not the FSR3 one, the one that they've got now. And then they added DLSS, which actually fixes it even more. But I don't know. This just looks weird to me. Really, really weird. I don't know what to make of this. Obviously, we'll see soon with the developers direct, but I don't know what to make of that. But this is what was leaked. This is what was leaked. Obviously, Killing being here. So the big ones for me are these three here. I don't think we're going to see Forza Motorsport 6 this year. Forza Horizon, sorry. I think it's too early. I think Forza Horizon 5 still has at least another year in it for itself. I think Forza Horizon is too early. Oblivion Remaster, you know, that could actually be shadow drops, right? They've been working on this for a good while. So I know people are saying Killing is going to be the shadow drop, but I think Oblivion could be it. I think Oblivion could be it. Clockwork Revolution. All of these games are going to be in Game Pass, Rebby. All of them. All of them will be in Game Pass when they're ready to come out. But, you know, I think Towerborn, I don't know how far the development is on that one. That one is definitely possible. Avowed, again, we've only seen like small snippets, and Reforge is already calling the game a disappointment. Stalker has been in development hell because of Ukraine. It's unfortunate. Hopefully they're all safe. Senua is going to be the big one. I don't know how I feel about Battle Royale for Halo. I don't think it needs it, but I know it's going to do well. Nothing comes out when COD comes out. That's going to have its own window to maximize sales. Shattered Space is going to be probably February. February. South of Midnight is the weird one. I can't really see where they're going to throw that in. So, like, if you're looking at the big games to release each quarter, Shattered Space will be one of them. Hellblade 2 will be one. Avowed will be one. Stalker will be one. Call of Duty will be one. Clockwork Revolution will be one. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be a DLC, so I think that's going to drop at the same time. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 games that they need to fit into 4 quarters. I think COD is going to just release in its own window. So if that's in its own window, then you're going to have probably either... I mean, it'll be interesting to see how far Avowed has come, because if Avowed is actually almost complete, that could be the first one to drop instead of Hellblade, although I would much rather Hellblade. But I think Hellblade, they're going to push it to August. And then in October, you're going to have Call of Duty. And then I think probably for Christmas period, the holiday period, you're going to have either Clockwork or Stalker. Probably Stalker, I think. And I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think South of Midnight is going to drop with one of these four. Oblivion or Killing could be the shadow drop. Age of Mythology is just going to come out when it wants to come out. I don't see that being highly successful. If it's like the Age of Empires games, it's really a PC game. Towerborn is the one that I've got my eye on. It looked really fun. Flight Simulator is just Flight Simulator. And Ark I've got no interest in. Yeah, it won't be there. Nice, I'll check today. Wasn't there yesterday? What wasn't there? Yes. What's going on? Can't wait for all the articles. Is Oblivion remake coming to PlayStation and Switch? Oh, Nate, that's going to happen. Developer Direct Clockwork Revolution. Oh, Clockwork Revolution is going to... They're going to show Clockwork Revolution on the 25th, for sure. I can't imagine them not showing Clockwork Revolution. COD is usually a Q4. Yeah, it is whole grain. Like October. Yeah, why I said October. I think they're gonna give Call of Duty its own window in October. We'll have a September game. It's gonna have a month. Whichever one of these are gonna come out in September is gonna come out in September, and then in October you're gonna have Call of Duty, and then maybe for the holidays they'll release one of these other ones. So I think that's the way they're gonna work it. But yeah, October, Call of Duty is going to keep its own. Now, if they decide to push COD on its own to November, then that's probably going to be the game we get for the holidays. Shattered Spaces DLC, Avowed might be delayed. COD has November release window. Hellblade 2 was hinted at being third big release this year after Towerborn. Yeah, August was when I heard for Hellblade 2. What would be the first one? That's a good question. Honestly, Clockwork Revolution has a chance to be the first one if... It all depends on how far in the development cycle they are. It's either going to be Clockwork or even South of Midnight could steal in there. Towerborn. You think Towerborn's going to be the first? No, I don't. I think Towerborn's going to be tagged with one of these big ones. I mean, if I was Microsoft, I would release it in a close proximity with one of the bigger games. You want the quarter games to be huge. Towerborn looks good, but I think it's going to be hit and miss. It will show up. Wait, so will we have them announcing COD these directs now? I would assume so. That's what makes sense. I mean, it's their game after all. Flight Sim 24 is too early. They usually release that during the summer. It's going to show up in it should show up in January, Rabbi. Whole grain bread, I think Avowed is very dependent on where it's at right now. I mean, if they've made amazing progress on the game, I think it can do a 2024 release. And honestly, I think it kind of needs a 2024 release. I think Fable definitely isn't this year. I think Fable's going to be 25, 26. Last year, ponies cried about Starfield. They started crying about it this year. Also, this year, I think ponies will start. I mean, they've already started saying that Hellblade 2 is going to be 30 FPS. It's weird. Flintlock, that could be interesting, but it's not one of those games I think is going to rock the world. Hellblade 2 Shadow Drop. William, what are you on? I mean, they didn't really show anything of Avowed. We saw some kind of cinematics and stuff, but I don't think we actually saw 30 seconds of uninterrupted gameplay. It all looked like it was an E3 presentation with everything stuck together with duct tape. Being, just like every E3 trailer is. I probably won't play Avowed just because it'll be like Outer Worlds, which I wasn't into. I mean, at the end of the day, Hellgrain, if you've got Game Pass, why not give it a try? What do you literally have to lose? Evil Within 3 Shadow Drop from Tango Gameworks? It was. It was teased. That's the beauty of Game Pass. You may not like it. Like I'm not a huge fan of Forza Motorsport. I played it, not a huge fan. That's fine. Perfect Dark will be 25, maybe 26. I don't see them pushing that to the next Xbox. I think Perfect Dark will come with this Xbox. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. By the way, for those of you that have an Epic Games Store account, Guardians of the Galaxy is now free. I know how some of you feel about Epic Games Store. It's the bringer of all evil, but free is free. Free is good. Halo, the next Halo is going to be with the next Xbox launch. I can't see that coming. I can't see it coming any sooner. Gears, I think. I mean, I want them to show Gears at the Developers Direct. I don't think it will be coming out this year. I don't even think it's going to come next year, honestly. And if Coalition are going to be pushing Unreal Engine 5 to its absolute limit in what they can do, and Coalition are absolutely amazing when it comes to Unreal Engine. They're like mastermind geniuses. They really know how to utilize their engine. I can't see them wanting to waste it for the end of the generation for this console if the series, whatever it's going to be called, the Xbox Next, is going to come out in 2026 November. Yeah, they're going to be next gen. The Elder Scrolls 6 guaranteed next gen, Blade next gen, Halo next gen. We're not seeing those this gen. Gear 6 may also be next gen as well. It just, I think with Gear 6, it really depends if they really want to blow their trumpet. But imagine them saving it. The next Xbox comes along, launch titles, Blade, Elder Scrolls 6, new Halo, new Gears of War. That's awesome, right? Maybe even like a new Doom, Perfect Dark Zero. Imagine coming out with like all of these games day one with the launch of the console. That's how you launch a console. Those Xboxes will fly off the shelf. Gear 6 better not be. Wait, do we think the next X-Gen Xbox will be 2026? It's a problem. No, Microsoft are going to try and release it earlier. I can see everything is pointing towards 2026 because, as we're going to see with Digital Foundry in a little bit, they're already getting GPU limitations, which is bad. As soon as you start getting GPU limitations, then your consoles is pretty much due for a upgrade. I mean, the PS2 is the one that went for like 25 years, right? But the rest usually lasted for 5-6 years. And it's kind of been that now, hasn't it? When did wasn't it 2013? When was it? 2017? When did the Series X come out? Can you believe this guy? The Xbox version looks better, it runs better, it performs better, it does everything better, but he's trying to say that the PS5 version is better in clarity, performance, and resolution. What a joke. This guy is a fucking clown. A true clown. I mean, it's unbelievable, man. Star Wars Mandalorian, which new Xbox game year? Mandalorian. If they've, I've heard it's in development. Well, that's all I've heard really about it. But if it is in development, that if they've only just started, it'll be for Xbox Next, not for this Xbox. See, a lot of the stuff that they've actually only just started developing, um, it's way too early, and we're coming to the end of the generation. So I can't see a lot of those games that they're just announcing now to appear for this current generation. And if there are limitations with the current console, believe you and me, it's going to be better for it to come for Xbox Next. Yo, we got like 90 people in the chat with only 31 likes. Come on, man. You guys can do better than that, right? I mean, likes are free. This is awesome. This is awesome. A modder is creating playable mechs for Starfield. This is before the actual creation kit with that Bethesda is launching from the actual mod tools is arriving. They're actually working on making playable mechs for Starfield. That's huge. That is huge. Hopefully they can like run really fast. Nice one, William. I mean, I'm hoping they can run really fast. But yeah, Microsoft should get Crytek to develop Rise 2 for the dude. I actually bought Rise for £2 a couple weeks ago. I installed it on my Xbox Series X. Good lord, that game looks insane. Insane. I still can't believe how good it looks. Basic combat and whatnot, but my god. It made Kong look absolutely crap. Then again, so does Pong, but we've got to set that bar somewhere. Leafstorm, there's a video. Nice. And we need to check it out. We need to check it out. What's this? For those of you that are PC enthusiasts, what do you think of this? MSI are releasing their own PC console. It's coming. MSI are getting into it as well. A whole new breed of MSI Dragon is coming. Get a grip and stay tuned. This is the handheld PC. That's a handheld PC from MSI. So we've got one from Valve, we've got one from Lenovo, we've got one from Asus. Now we're getting one from MSI. CES is next week. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, all we have to look at is that lots of mesh grills. I thought it's quite interesting. I mean, everyone wants a slice of the pie right now, whole grain. I recently hopped back into Shadow of the Tomb Raider and it still holds up really well. A lot of these games will do, Cool Breeze. People underestimate how good they actually looked back in the day. Look, no one talks about the Portal. No one. Have you noticed that not even PlayStation fans are talking about the Portal anymore, except for Chris Hart? He's the only one left fighting that good fight. Because he believes that the Portal can run PS5 games native at 60 FPS. That's all I'm saying. So this is the one I wanted to sit down and watch. I've seen quite a few buyer remorse. I mean, the biggest mistake with the Portal was the way it was marketed. I've seen a lot of people actually buy the Portal thinking it's actually a console. And they were pretty disappointed when they found out it's not a console. But I think this is an interesting watch.
Targeting 60 frames per second. So let's take a look at that. I wanted to start with this though, another benchmark run and one we've never featured on the channel before. For completion's sake, I thought I'd show all the streaming tests I was able to port over from PC to console, and this one is as basic as it gets. A high-speed run across a wide highway, and where neither Xbox Series X nor PlayStation 5 show much in the way of issues in attaining 60 frames per second. It's not a completely flat line on all counts though, as Xbox Series X is dropping a few frames here and there.
And do keep in mind, there's really nothing that you can see, right? Even though the Xbox is still dropping 1 frame every so often, the draw distance just isn't that great. Obviously, this is a upload onto Twitter, so it's, you know, the resolution is pretty poor, but the draw distance isn't great for, you know, so it's saving performance doing that. But it's still dropping a frame here and there. And obviously a frame is nothing, right?
Then across a 3600 frame run, a PS5 drops just 25 frames, 0.7% of the total, up against Series X dropping 36 frames, or 1% of the total. This is a basic benchmark though.
So PlayStation 5 dropped 25 and Xbox 36. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. Like, it's not the end of the world.
This one showing a truck make its way from the highway into the city is a little more interesting. Again, good results from both consoles, but again, Xbox is a little less stable. 34 frames dropped from 3100 on PS5, meaning 1.1% of duplicates, up against 74 on Series X, 2.4% of the total. Now, some might say that we're splitting hairs here, and going back to the streaming test we use in our PC GPU reviews, 7,800 frame total drops just 32 on PS5 versus 120 on Series X.
Again, it's not that big of a deal. It's not maintaining that solid 60, but it's not really dropping below, you know, 55. So as far as I'm concerned, that's okay. But you'll still see that drop. And if you've got VSync enabled, it's going to drop to 30 and then back to 60. So having VSync enabled on the Series X is actually a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't much in it. There is a gap though, and the question is whether there's any content that shows a clear difference, and in turn, whether any of that content is in these benchmark runs. And, well, the answer is yes. This nighttime race with combat shows a clear divide between PS5, which loses just 32 frames from a 15,500 total, up against Xbox Series X, which loses 1,264.
That's ridiculous. And that's a GPU limitation. And this is why the 2026 console needs to arrive. Now, if this is how this is running now, with, you know, with these sorts of games, which have been, I guess, optimized as much as they can, once the PS5 Pro, if it even is a real thing, comes out, it won't even drop those 32. It's just going to be flat 60. Whereas it's going to suffer.
4 frames, 8.2% of the total output, with far more prevalent screen tearing at the top of the display there. There's a 45 FPS low on the Microsoft machine, which I'm going to highlight here, because in matched content, PlayStation 5 drops a few frames here too. Suggests that performance tuning in this game is geared towards the Sony console, and for whatever reason, there's a good deal less overhead on Xbox Series X, causing the performance differences. Quite why there are differences at all is a matter where we have little visibility, but perhaps a clue here or there. There's been the contention amongst the team for a while now that maybe Series X is less optimal in CPU-limited situations in this game compared to PlayStation 5, even though the PS5 has hardware cuts to its Zen 2 CPU cluster and runs at a slower clock speed than Xbox. Maybe more active AI is causing more of a hit to CPU performance than the other scenes we've tested, which have no combat at all. But the thing is, well, I do actually think this is all down to GPU, actually. Because look what happens when we swap in Xbox Series S.
I agree. I think it's the GPU. I do think it's the GPU. Wayne's World, I don't think any of that is real, man. I don't expect games. I mean, if the games are, I mean, the PS5 games are currently now running at 60 anyway. I don't think there's many, but they're not going to be running 4K 60. They're going to be running performance 60. Dude, a PC is going to, a PC is, you know, is struggling at times to run 4K 60. These consoles are not doing 4K 60, not native. I think they're both running in performance 1440p. It's not about no. What Coolbreeze, what this is saying is that if Xbox is hitting a GPU limitation, then that 2026 date for the console, for the Xbox Next, starts to become a little more real. It starts to be, starts to carry a bit more weight. Because games that are CPU limited, the CPU on the Series X is fine. It can handle quite a bit and it can still push more. This game is very GPU dependent. And because of that, if they've hit the limit of what they can do, regardless of the 12 teraflops, if they've hit that limit of what the VRAM is, that's it. It physically can't go further. And this is as good as it gets. That's what this video is telling you. Exactly, gamer limit. So I just don't see, even with the PS5 Pro, they're just not going to do it. I think you need like the PS6, even the PS6, I can't see getting true 4K 60. I mean, what game was it? I think it was Falconer on the PS5 that hit 8K. And it also, I think it hit similar resolutions on the Series X, because that game literally had nothing going for it. So the whole thing is, you're seeing companies trying to do more and more and more with the games, but there's a cost to that. There's a cost attached to that. I think they just need to, add the features, add the gameplay, but when it comes to the graphics, just rein it in a little bit. Because I'm pretty sure as console gamers, they will be happy to have the graphics slightly reined in, but have a performance of 60 FPS, 90 FPS, rather than, having it go all over the place. At least that's my opinion. I mean, it could very well be that it's poorly optimized automata. It could very well be that that is the absolute case. But I think it kind of it does kind of show us where we're currently at with the current generation. I mean, I can't really use Starfield as an example because even the latest, the high-end PCs struggle to run that at 60 FPS. Optimization on that is kind of bad. But with stuff like this, I think it kind of gives you that kind of, how can I say, ballpark to where we're at in the current generation. Well, I mean, from some of the contracts that were leaked, we already saw that Sony requires a parity clause. So even if the Xbox could run better, it just developers can't utilize it. If the game runs better, they can't, they'll be in breach of contract, and Sony could prevent them from releasing that game on their PlayStation platform. So, Xbox back in the 360 days when they were dominant also did similar things. So it is what it is. I think those clauses, however, should just go away. They don't need to exist. If a console can push far, ahead, let it push ahead. Like the PC market, like a gamer limit here has a 4090. Just because I've got a 3090 Ti doesn't mean that he should be penalized because I've got a lesser graphics card. He's got a better graphics card, so he should be able to perform better. He's paid for it. So I think these clauses need to just piss off and go away. I believe it, Wayne. I believe it. I mean, my kid's TV upstairs is still 1080p. He doesn't really need a 4K. He's got a Series S upstairs, so. And it's weird because I offered to get him a Series X and he didn't want it. He was happy with his Series S. Casual gamers. A lot of tools that Xbox relies on to optimize for Xbox they can't use because of the parity clause. Correct, Edward. Those are anti-competitive and should be done away with. Imagine that's exactly it. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly the point I'm making. You're playing Dwarf Fortress on your Steam Deck? Nice. I've been tinkering with my Steam Deck all day today. But, UK doesn't need a PS5 Pro for 1080p. But the latest narrative is that Hellblade 2 runs at 24 frames per second. No mistakes, Jay? Hey. Shout out to No Mistakes, Jay. There you go. But to anyone out there, for those of you in chat, what is the frame rate for Blu-ray? What is the frame rate for Blu-ray? Main reason why I like handhelds because I find it hard to read stuff on my TV too. Exactly. And what was it that we watched at the Game Awards of Hellblade 2? It wasn't a live performance of the game, that's for sure. It was a movie. Now, I'm guessing it was running at an absolutely stupid resolution to get that to show on that big screen and look that crispy sharp. So I'm guessing it was using Blu-ray tech. Oh, Chad. MBG is on cope. He is full cope. My dude is full cope. He is full cope. If he thinks it's gonna run a 3080 Ti, my dude better be prepared to pay like £1,200 for that machine. He better be prepared. Dude. That sort of power is expensive, man. The TIs are not cheap. Not cheap. Ain't no one buying their graphics cards used. £700 just for the graphics one. That's used. Used. I mean, you're not going to find it new now. That's refurbished. There you go, brand new. 1,400. They're crazy, man. They're crazy. Crazy. Have you seen this bellend already? Avowed hasn't launched, but they're already trying to label it a disappointment. This is why I find it hard to take criticism of Xbox games seriously. Obsidian is literally one of the most consistent Xbox studios. See, I don't think we can use that anymore. We've seen too many studios just flop this year, just not do overly well or deliver subpar performances, unfortunately. So I think in that regard, though I do like Obsidian and I think they are a great studio, I think people should really just stop expecting the best and demand the best.
Video, or I'm loving this game video, right? I actually think Avowed is going to end up being a disappointment, personally, from everything we've seen, and you know, looking at the gameplay and the changes that they made. You know, mid-development to be like, yeah, our quest design's not really going to work with co-op. We cut co-op, and the graphics just, I don't know. Lone Wolf says he's going to say Avowed. I knew it. Yeah, I think Avowed is going to be, I think Avowed's going to be disappointing. Now,
it's because of the expectations set. So Avowed, when it originally got announced, was supposed to have co-op. It was announced with it, and now they've said they've dropped co-op. Just like they dropped co-op for Halo, just like they dropped co-op for Forza Motorsport. It's becoming a trend, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. The first area was really good. Every area after the first area was forgettable, and the game was overly way too short, and the second half felt rushed. So I wanted to watch this video. It's from Broken Games HDR. I'm actually thinking of getting him onto the show either this week. I think tomorrow might be a little late, but I'm going to see if I can get him onto the show on Tuesday next week or Friday next week to have a discussion, because he seems to be quite level-headed when it comes to PlayStation. But, you know, this is PlayStation has to do better. Let's see what he has to say.
What's going on, everybody? Broken Games HDR back at it again with another video. First of all, Happy New Year, Happy 2024, prosperity,
My dude sounds
yada
defeated
yada
already.
bullshit, all that stuff. Let's get to the point of the video. Let's get to the shits. PlayStation got some course correcting to do in 2024.
They do.
2023 to me was already unacceptable. They got some course correcting to do. They got some shit they need to address. 2023 was unacceptable to me because you only released one game of relevance, and first party. Let me clarify that. One first party game of relevance and consequence. Let it be clear, moving forward in this video, when I talk about games, I am talking about PlayStation first party games unless I specify third party. Because you new age weirdos are suddenly trying to downplay the importance of first party games. That is why we buy a specific console. Not that third party games don't matter. They absolutely matter. But we buy these for first party games, the things we cannot get anywhere else. So you new weirdos acting like first party hasn't always been the most important thing, especially with the PlayStation brand. I ain't dealing with y'all. Okay, I guess because your overlords only released one first party game last year, that suddenly y'all felt like y'all needed to pivot and spin the shit like first party ain't the most important. I ain't dealing with y'all. Okay, I'm not. I guess I should say I don't subscribe to that nonsense. Okay?
And you know, what he's saying here is actually a lot of sense. You see a lot of the ponies out there now that are saying third party games are first party and all this and all that. But you know, back when Xbox had third party exclusives, it was always Xbox no games, right? But there is a difference. It's not first party. Exclusives are exclusives, but it's not first party. No one is saying that they don't have exclusives. What they're saying is that they don't have first party games. And that notion sticks. And when Xbox had third-party exclusives, even if they were timed, like High on Life, all the PlayStation fans said they had no games. So it goes to reason PlayStation has no games. We're only using the same terminology that PlayStation fans used for Xbox fans. Why is it's okay for one side to say it, but then they get seriously butthurt, pissed off, angry, annoyed, frustrated, and then go into the stables to have a mother's meeting with the rest of the ponies? But first-party games are what makes it stand out. But yes, exclusives are exclusives. We've been saying this for ages. I mean, the fact that there's even one game on the console means that it has games. Yeah, that notion, that terminology went for what, 2 years? And now the first time that they don't have anything for 2024, at least on the roadmap, that's exclusive. It makes no sense. This guy is speaking true. And what he's saying is, it's not that it doesn't have exclusive games coming. It does. Many of them are multi-plat on PC, of course, which now that's no longer an issue. But, what he's saying here is quite true.
Okay, last year was unacceptable. But my stance is I always give you 1 year, right? One off year. You off your game for 1 year, cool, I'll let that slide. But you only get one from me, right? And because it happens every generation, right? I know a lot of people who get their ass beat by nostalgia on a daily basis like to think that everything that came previous was better. But PlayStation 4 had a off year, a dry year. Anybody who remembers Indie Station, Sparse Station, oh yeah, that definitely happened. A lot of people don't remember that. PlayStation 3, they had I forgot what year it is, but it was some really dry shit. There was like nothing from like
Bornia, that's another thing that I don't get, right? I see a lot of people talking about, oh, PlayStation made this much money and they made this much money and look how much sales we've got. And I'm like, if you do not have any shares in that company, you're a moron. You're not just a standard moron. You're an idiotic moron. If you literally have no stake in those sales where you're going to get your shares, dividends that are going to be paid to you is actually going to be increased, and you're just sitting there cheering for a corporation to make even more money that doesn't even know that you exist, you're an idiot. I've said this all along. I've never changed that tone. I always see these people, oh, we're selling this many consoles and look how many games we sold. Do you have, and the first question I ask them is, do you have any shares in Insomniac? Or do you have any shares in Sony? Well, no. So why the fuck do you care? Just play the games and shut up. Because all I care about is them delivering good games and me playing good games. I don't care how much money a $1 trillion company makes or how much money a $1 billion company makes. It's just weird, man. I find it so weird. So when is Spider-Man 2 Money Grab Remaster coming out? Probably next year. I mean, it's going to come PC first, right? Have they released their DLC yet for Spider-Man 2? No, they haven't. You're probably going to get the DLC and they're going to bundle it all together. They're going to release like a Game of the Year edition or something. I mean, after all, they did award themselves Game of the Year, right? No one was giving one to them, so they decided to do it themselves. Yeah, that was cold. I mean, I saw those promotional trailers with Venom, and that shit should have stayed in the game. That was cut.
in general, the industry was dry that year, but definitely from PlayStation. I want to say it was, I may be completely wrong, but I want to say it was like 2010 or some shit. One of those years during the PS3 era was like really fucking dry. I can't remember, but it happens every generation is the point. But I give you one, but the next year you gotta recover. You gotta regroup and fix some shit. Now, the way things are looking and my philosophy on how things typically go in game development in the industry, if you don't announce something the year before or show a significant amount of gameplay, the game probably ain't coming out next year. So the only thing that I don't know could really be coming out this year is maybe Concord, and we don't even really know what the fuck that shit is.
That's the other thing. Everyone's relying on Concord. If that game was landing this year, at least at the start of the year, sometime soon, we would have actually known something. That's the new game that's being made by ex-Bungie developers. It's really funny because they decided that they had enough of the Bungie culture, so they left, created their own studio, and they get bought by Sony. Then Sony bought Bungie and brought them together again. I asked if you think that Sony turned PlayStation into a movie console where they play only movie games, aside from Uncharted release today. I mean, Jonathan, the thing with that is this. Sony used to make a wild, well, not Sony, but they used to have a wild variety of games on their platform, right? Whether it was Ratchet and Clank, it was Gravity Rush, which, the first one is amazing. And the second one, they took everything that was amazing about the first one, stripped it, and then released a bog standard game that just didn't do well. It reviewed not too great, and rightfully so, because if you remove everything that made the first game brilliant and then release a substandard game, that's what's going to happen. But as time has gone on, these kind of niche games stopped doing well. And then they released one of their, walking simulator, movie-esque cinematic games, and people loved it. And so they made another one. And they're selling. And the problem now is they know that this template, this formula, sells. Whereas if they release a game like Ratchet and Clank, there is a chance that they might not break even. They did, only by the skin of their teeth this time, but there is a chance that the Ratchet and Clank that comes in 2029 might not break even. But they know that the next God of War will break even and will make a profit, because those are the games that people want. And so what you get now is a bunch of games coming out that follow that same kind of formula. I mean, just look at Returnal. It didn't really do well. I mean, the game is I love Returnal, right? It's a really good game. But it didn't sell well. It didn't. Because that's not what the community for PlayStation is after. They want those cinematic, story-driven games where they have a bit of gameplay and then watch a massive cutscene, walk into a new area. I mean, just look at it. Think of even Uncharted to a certain degree, right? Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, all of them, right? Go to an area, have a fight, get a lengthy cutscene. Go to the next area, kill some bad guys, get a lengthy cutscene. That is pretty much the template for all of those games. And it's the storytelling that's carrying those games. If the storytelling was bad, those games would have flopped. But it's the storytelling that's doing well for those games and keeping it going. But that's now what the PlayStation fans want. They don't want those niche games like Gravity Rush. They want those high blockbuster titles like Spider-Man 2, like the God of War, like the Last of Us franchise. You're crazy if you think giving third-party exclusives will... I didn't say that. Sold the other PS IPs like Ratchet and Clank outsold by... Yeah, they sell more. That's the point I'm trying to make. It was Bonite. I really enjoyed Uncharted 4. Even Thief's End was a good game. All right, cool. But like me personally, I enjoy those cinematic games where I sit down and watch a story. To me, it's kind of like an interactive movie. You get to play a bit and then watch like a really decent cutscene. But I appreciate it's not for everyone. But for those people that are on PlayStation, they love that formula. So the question is now, do they continue using that formula and going and doing the same, and essentially they're a one-trick pony, no pun intended. But, do they remain a one-trick pony, or do they try to diversify and be a bit more creative? With the current way their finances are going, I don't think they can afford to be creative. I think they kind of are now stuck in this kind of hole where they can't afford to take those risks. And that's why they're trying to money hat other companies to create games. But then you're looking at games like Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's essentially, from what I've seen, going to look like the same thing. Eventually, they're going to have to, Steve. I mean, what's going to be interesting is the next company or publisher Microsoft buys. Because it's coming. People think it's not, but it's coming. I think within the next year, we're going to hear that they're moving for another publisher or another studio. Whether it's Crystal Dynamics, Sega, or whether they're going to make an outlandish bid for Capcom. I don't know. We don't even know what the state for Activision Blizzard games are right now in terms of what's going to be exclusive, what's not going to be exclusive. We know at the very least COD, Diablo, Overwatch is going to PlayStation. But what about games like Odyssey or anything else that's coming from Blizzard that's single player? Are those going to go to PlayStation? I would assume not. EA is another one that could happen. Yeah, Microsoft is already buttering them up already. I know they say a case-by-case basis, but if it's not a multiplayer, like a massively multiplayer game, I just don't see it going. I know they say case-by-case, but I think we can all agree that if it's not like an Elder Scrolls game or an Overwatch game where clearly the amount of players that are playing that game is why the game lives, and it lives through its microtransactions, it's just not going to go to PlayStation. But that's my opinion.
So I think it's entirely possible that PlayStation goes this entire year, 2020.
Nate, the regulators would never allow it. It's for a lot of Activision Blizzard games, not just COD. The FTC was very thing. But it's only for COD for parity. The others will be released on PlayStation, but there's no parity clause for those, from what I understood. Yeah, I think they need to go for a Japanese dev as well. But I think if they really, really want to cause upset in the industry, real shockwaves, I think Capcom would be the one to go for.
I think it's possible without any without any first party games from them. I think it's entirely possible, because even though I think a lot of these games that they have in development are closer to release than we think, I think they don't really have anything concrete that's going to be ready for this year that they're going to announce, I don't know, in the next few months, that they are going that are also going to also end up releasing this year. The official announcement and release in the same year, I doubt it. So, that being said, your issue last year was lack of first-party games. And some would argue the bigger issue is the lack of communication, announcements, and showcases. Now, if the case actually is, and like I said, I believe that to be the case, which is unacceptable, that you have no first-party games that are going to release in 2024, you have to go crazy with showcases, announcements, and communication about what's coming in the future, 2025, early 2026. I'm not trying to really hear about shit after that point. Some immediate things that are happening. Like I said, third party is cool, but like y'all acting like that's always been the most important thing. Y'all can get the fuck out of my face with that. Soap Stars, whatever the hell that game is called, Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Booty. Cool.
And look, for those of you that don't know, I reacted to a video with Stellar Blade. My wife decided that she wanted to give her opinion as well. She was brutal. You should watch it. It's gonna release after this stream. But what he's saying here is kind of true. But what Sony is relying on right now is the third-party games, the third-party exclusives to maintain. Because even if they release a showcase in February, the earliest those games are going to come is December, November, December. Can you imagine them trying to drop a game alongside Call of Duty? I mean, they tried that with Elden Ring, with Forbidden West. Didn't really work out well for them. And I think they've got another game that's already dropping alongside COD. Or it did, I think. And it didn't work out well for them either. So can you imagine them having a first-party game that they've invested so much in and then trying to drop it around, October, November? That would be suicide. Tencent's in trouble right now.
Cool. That ain't the show. That ain't the headliner. That's not what I'm coming out for. I ain't leaving the house for that shit. Okay? That's not what the niggas is not coming out the house for that. You know what games we coming out the house for, and that's a metaphor.
Leaf Storm, Sega would be a really good buy, but if Microsoft buys Sega, I can see them leaving all of their games multiplat. I don't really see them taking those games off any platform, Switch or PlayStation. But the thing that will be really good with that is that it will be a two-pronged attack. Number one, all those rich Sega games that will now come to Game Pass day and date is just going to prop up the value of Game Pass exponentially. And at the same time, it will finally give them the entry into the Japanese market that they also desperately want.
I don't literally mean that literally. I know what the fuck I'm saying. That don't move us. That don't inspire no motion. The games that get shit cranking around here, bro. You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, Borneo.
Those are the games that we need to hear about.
I'm guessing they probably would have.
The games that get shit shaking and moving.
But EA ain't letting them go.
Those what we need to hear about. Those what we need to see. So, even though showcases and announcements still don't redeem you from releasing no games, that's the least you can, it's the least and the best you can do probably. To say, hey, we are lacking another year. We're going to be lacking for another year. But all this shit is coming. You got to have a media blowout. You got to go crazy. And here, and my thing is, this is far from the worst position PlayStation has been in. Far from the worst. So this is, last year is not something, I don't look at last year as something that's like, oh, they can't recover from this. Oh man, this is the worst, state they've ever been in. Not even close.
The PS3 was there.
So there's a lot of shit y'all got to figure out. Y'all got to make some changes, pivot, and make it better in 2024. Game development, there's certain things I know you can't really move and shake like that because stuff take time. But the communication, people will be understanding if y'all at least start communicating. And there's some changes happening at PlayStation. We all know CEO and all that stuff. And there was a lot of like negative news, especially towards the end of the year.
Steve, it's not about the Western market. It's about the Japanese market. They need that Japanese market. They're losing too much money there. They're losing too much sales. They're releasing the consoles there, and the penetration just isn't high. So if they buy a Japanese studio that actually is well loved over there and could be the difference between shifting, 10,000 consoles to 2 million consoles, that's what it will be purchased for. Just like ABK was purchased for King. I mean, COD is a nice bonus, but the ABK deal was primarily for King. They wanted that gateway into mobile. Starting fresh is really hard, but having someone that's already, a company that's already established that can just pull you straight in, that's priceless. That's what they went for with ABK. That was their primary goal. COD was a nice bonus on top. For the Japanese market, it's going to be the fact that they're going to start to penetrate that market. And the good thing about that is any game that comes from, the East will just go straight into Game Pass. So whether people play it or not is irrelevant because the Japanese market should be buying it. And that's what it's aimed at. I think it was, what dev was it? I was listening to it today in Ono Alex's video. I can't remember where the dev worked, but they made their own game. And because of the inflation prices in Brazil, he cut the cost of the game by like 75% so they could afford to buy the actual game instead of pirating it. And 25% of his revenue now comes from Brazil because of the fact that it's so cheap. So it's not so much about the Western market loving those games. Trust me, with enough titties and ass, it will sell. If they look like that woman from Fable, you're going to have a problem. But once they penetrate that market and they start to build a portfolio, that's when things will change. But that's not going to happen overnight.
Some stuff that people, blew out of proportion and interpreted to be negative, but some stuff that was actually legitimately negative. So, listen, take some of that stuff in stride, take it on the chin, and turn this shit around because 2024 can't be another repeat of 2023. That shit ain't flying. It's not flying, bro. I don't think it helps that PlayStation they can lean on third party until they are ready. Not saying I want them to rush things, but it's still unacceptable. It doesn't help because we want PlayStation to feel pressure that they have to talk, but it doesn't help that they are selling crazy. They are making a lot of money. They are still the market leader and dominating and all that shit. And they do have all these third-party deals that are console exclusives. They feel like, hey, we can lean on that. We're winning. And when we're ready, we just release whatever we got. I just need them to have a little bit more urgency than that. Got to have a little bit more urgency than that.
And again, he's right. Sony need to communicate, but as long as you've got the ponies out there who are saying, let them cook, let them do what they want, we don't need them to tell us anything, we don't need this, we don't need that, as long as that's the message that's going to Sony, they're just not going to care. And I think more people should be turning around to Sony and saying, hey buddy, what's going on? Hey buddy, why are you being like this? Where was our secret showcase? I went searching at Pornhub and I couldn't find it. I searched every corner of Pornhub. There was no showcase. But, I think he's right. And the thing is, when Xbox is doing bad, or if Xbox does something wrong, or if Xbox is not performing, Xbox fans let them know to demand better. They demand better. They want better. They let them know that it's not good enough. With PlayStation fans, oh, we got Spider-Man. It's more than enough for the whole year. We're happy because we sold 6 million copies or 5 million copies. And it's like, why do you care about sales? Oh, well, if we make enough sales, they'll make a sequel. Yeah. But that's for Sony to deal with. That's not for you. You as a consumer, just be happy with the game you got. Is the game up to par? That's the question. Is it up to par? But they're so blinded by this whole, oh, we've got 50 million consoles and we're first and we've got this and we've got that they're not asking the right questions to PlayStation. And as long as they don't ask those questions to PlayStation, they don't care. They just don't care. You know, it's weird. It's weird. Because I would be demanding more. Like, one thing I want from Microsoft is better third-party exclusives. You know, I know how you guys feel about what I said. You know, regardless, I want better third-party exclusives that are tailored for the Xbox, that actually are going to supplement first-party games. I know we've got, like, you know, 35 studios, 40 studios. That's great. But I want more. I'm a greedy fuck. Can't you see my belly? I want to eat good. Right? I'm a big boy. I want to eat good. So I want more. And when I see some of these games that I like going over to PlayStation, I mean, I've got my PS5, so I'll buy it on PS5. But I'd rather buy it on my Xbox. If there is a game that comes out on PlayStation and Xbox, I'll buy it on Xbox. Because not only can I play it, my kid upstairs can play it. Right? It works out much better for me. The consumer friendliness that is of Xbox is a big deal. The way they actually work their system is crazy. But it's, you know, me as a father of 5 kids, 3 of which like video games, 2 don't. It's amazing because I just need to buy the game on my profile and they can all play it. So, you know, but we asked for better and we got better. PlayStation fans don't want better. They're just, let them cook, let them cook, let them cook. 4 years later, let them cook, man, let them cook. Yeah, we're high on that meth, boys. Yeah. That's all I'm seeing.
I said, it can't be a repeat. Shit can't be the same. They got to course correct. They got to change. They got to pivot. They got to adapt. They got to switch some things up. And I think they could do it. And overall, lucky for them, overall, I don't know. I'm looking at 2024 in the list of games. Just in general, there's not a lot of stuff confirmed. There's some things confirmed. But overall, 2024 is not looking like, it's not looking like one of those years where, damn, I'm going to have to like schedule time out to play this game. And I'm probably going to take a day off from work to play this game. And damn, this game is launching right next to this one. I'm going to be so overwhelmed. It's not looking like that.
Look, you got Helldivers, right? It's available on PC as well. It's going to be cheaper on PC. If I was interested in that game, I'd buy it for PC. You know, if it's crossplay as well. So there's Discord. You don't even have to jump into PlayStation chat anymore. So that already, the Discord has removed the barrier to need to buy the game on a console. If you've got a powerful enough PC, you don't even need to worry about the whole barrier to communication anymore, because Discord exists on consoles as well now. And so games in general are cheaper on PC. And if you're digital only anyway, what does it matter? You're playing it on Game Pass. If you're looking at Helldivers, would you pay $70 or $50 for the same game? $50 will run better, look better, perform better. $70 will not run as good as the $50, not perform as good as the $50, not look as good as the $50. So you got Helldivers, you got The Last of Us remake. I mean, I might pay the $10 for that to see what those free levels are. You know, as someone who's worked in the games industry before, you know, a number of years, I like to see the stuff that was deleted. So I'm more interested in that than the roguelite mode. I love to see like the cut content side of things. Because I've still got that developer side of me, you know, in me. So, you know, having worked for, you know, Sega, Square Enix, Empire Interactive, and a few others, I've moved around in the games industry. But hey, WG Productions, thank you very much for that supporter plus. That is awesome. I appreciate you. But you know, it's just a thing. It's Wes from Work to Game Discord. Hey, how's it going, buddy? How's Brian? Haven't spoken to him in a while. Really do need to speak to him, especially with Dawn Trail coming. I'm guessing he's gearing up for Dawn Trail really, really well. Him and Chris.
At least from my perspective. Some cool stuff coming out, but nothing that's like we're going to be overwhelmed like in 2023, to the point where some people are still trying to finish up their 2023 games now. They got to do better.
Hey, Dwayne. This guy, there was a time when I was pretty much at my lowest point. And I'll forever be grateful to this guy, Dwayne Morse. This dude helped me out in probably my darkest hour. He's the one that, when my PC went to shit, he's the one that helped me get back on my feet and supplied me with some of the, you know, parts I've got right now. Guy's a legend. True legend, man. Dwayne, I could never thank you enough. Overwhelmed in 2023. You know, what I'm doing today, able to do all of this in the tiniest of cramped spaces, you know, I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for Dwayne. So, seriously, dude, massive thank you for. I'll always be grateful for that. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be good, but you're kind of going to play that once and it's over. Helldivers, they are really banking on that one. The Last of Us can go away. Ronin is going to be hit or miss. What have they actually got? Stellar Blade is honest. I'm actually more interested in Stellar Blade than I am in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm going to buy Rebirth, don't get me wrong, but I'm actually more interested in Stellar Blade for the plot. You know, the plot looks really good, right? The plot looks like amazing in Stellar Blade.
The brand is obviously strong. We know that. But the hardcore, the real hardcore, not the pandering, ass-kissing hardcore, not them. They have expectations, and PlayStation needs to meet them. All right? Not you weirdos who, like I said, you fuckhead weirdos who are acting like, you know, first party doesn't matter and downplaying the importance of first party. Y'all could go jump in the river. Okay? Because a lot of y'all are sounding like different fan bases. I'm like, where has the integrity?
How long is this video?
Went of some where
finished.
Where the fuck some of y'all spines gone? Y'all, like, some of y'all lost y'all spine suddenly. Because I guess because y'all overlords told y'all things are okay, and like, oh no, just hold this third party exclusive, you'll be all right. Yeah, y'all make me sick.
Oh, damn.
But just wanted to start 2024 off right with my expectations.
And they're good expectations. And
Those
a lot
are
of
the
PlayStation fans
standards. Those are
should be
the
saying the same thing.
expectations. They better do better. Let me know what y'all think. Hit the like button. Hope we have another great year. Follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll catch y'all on the next video.
You know what? That was a good video, a down
Peace.
to earth video. I think it was really good. I'm gonna drop the link in chat. Drop him a like. I think he deserves it. That was a good down to heart video. Definitely worth dropping him a like, folks. I mean, he looks defeated. He does. He does. He really looks defeated. He does. And but he's come to the realization that the games that he wants to see, you know, like the Resistances from Insomniac or the SOCOMs, you know, PlayStation has such a rich catalog of games that they could bring to the forefront. And so does Microsoft. It's not just, you know, the Halos and the Gears and the Forzas. All these companies that they've got, Rare, you name it, have such a rich catalog of games. And now with the extra studios that they've got, hopefully they can start going back into those. We've kind of congested into one funnel of style of gaming. Everything's like kind of following the same pattern. And the creative juices just seem to be just going. And they're going badly. I mean, what was that multiplayer game by... Was it by Rare or the team that made Time Splitters? I can't remember. But you were like a squirrel. It was on the Dreamcast. Like, where are those creative games anymore? Meanwhile, Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation is really nothing more than a reskin. I mean, Spider-Man 1 is actually, I think, better than Spider-Man 2. It had more bosses. It had more villains. You had Craven, who just died. Was it Conker? You know, let me have... Was it Dreamcast Conker game? Yeah, I think it was this one. Now, this is 4 years ago. This is that's on Xbox. I'm pretty sure it was in the Dreamcast. Was it Bad Fur Day? No, it was not this. I can't remember what it was called, but you know, we just don't get those. Like Power Stone, such a good game. Where is it? Hey man, we're only a quarter into our budget for making me play another horrible game. You want to hear defeated? Do you guys want to hear a pony defeated? Do you want to hear a pony defeated? This is a pony defeated.
From Sony's perspective, say anything at this point. I don't understand what's going on over there from a first party perspective. Say something. It's not... It seems like a trap to say anything about this because people are going to go be like, dude, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Helldivers 2, Rise of the Ronin, God of War DLC, Final Fantasy 16 DLC. And I'm like, yeah, that's all true. But again, I said it earlier, you know what I mean. There's something missing right now. Mm-hmm. And we need to, I feel like with some level of urgency, need to know more, because are they really going to announce these things that close to the vest? We're getting to the point now where I'm like, are they really going to announce a massive AAA PlayStation first party exclusive for, say, the fall that we don't know about yet? That's very unusual for them. But if they're going to do that, that's cool. But say something. So that's as a PlayStation podcaster, that's my walkaways. It's hard to be too upset when you have so many games from all these sources to play. But that's a lot of why we're on PlayStation, but it's not all of it. And a big part of why we're here and what speaks to our PlayStation experience the most are the high quality first party games. And there seems to be a dearth of them right now. And you can't help but notice that. And it does matter. And it is, I've been long, and not a long defender, but long been being like, just wait and wait. But now we're kind of past the point of that, I think. Now I'm kind of on board with being like, let's fucking go, man. What's going on here?
You know I'm looking at you. Why are you knocking the controllers on the floor? I can't be upset at you. Not when you're giving me those eyes. Dwayne, that's the mentality that's currently in with PlayStation fans. They're not going and asking the tough questions and expecting an answer. If they all turned around and started tweeting to PlayStation that they are pissed off, they want answers now, Sony would have to respond. Then, their finances aren't exactly the best right now. And if they lose favor with the community, that's going to tank like hell. It's a oh, God. Savage. Absolutely savage. What am I being chased on here? And it's caked extreme motion blur. What's this? What game are they talking about? Yeah, I don't see any motion blur. And the things I can find for Dreamcast are Chi-Chi Rocket and Fur Fighters. That was it. That was it. I'm pretty sure it was Fur Fighters. I'm pretty sure. It was a multiplayer game. I remember having good memories with this one. That's not multiplayer. These were the good days. These were the good days when games just were fun to play. Colin criticizes Xbox, Twitter, F this douche. He doesn't know shit about gaming or how long it takes to make games. Colin criticizes PlayStation, Twitter. Yes, he gets it. He's saying what others are afraid to say. But he is saying what others are afraid to say. Oh, God. No way. He's a professional reviewer. Maybe I should start reviewing, boys. Growing up, our version of video games consisted of find the TV's Diablo, it was really fun. It was really, really fun. Cyberpunk 2077 sells by platform. CDPR is heavily PC-focused company that would make sense as a future acquisition target for Microsoft. GOG sold 10%, but 68% essentially on PC, 20% on PlayStation 5, and 13%. That's actually not bad. That actually shows that more people on Xbox bought the game than PS5. When you look at percentages, considering I think PlayStation now is at 50 million and Xbox is at what, 22 million, 24 million consoles sold. That percentage is higher than, or is it 25 million? Something like that, 25, 26 million. But that percentage is higher than this one. That's interesting. So more Xbox gamers bought the game than PlayStation gamers. Gaz trying to get arrested. Mate, you walk like this in London as a... Yeah, he's going to get arrested. What? Dude, man. PlayStation has no games. Guys, did you see that Tetris video? Did anyone see that Tetris video? It's actually an insane video. I might play it tomorrow. You'd expect it to be way higher for PlayStation 5 with how much it sold? Yeah. We'll watch it tomorrow. I think it's like a 15-minute video. It's insane. It's how a kid basically broke the record. It's ridiculous. But it's a phenomenal watch. So here you have it, right? This is a 2D fighting game. I'll call it fighting game so people don't get upset. You're either into this or you're not. 2B is going to be in this, so I know it's going to sell at least a little bit well. This, I think, is a joke. This is going to be hit or miss. I can see this flopping quite hard. This one, I don't think anyone really cares. This is going to sell well, somewhere probably in the region of 3 million, 4 million. This one is, again, is going to be hit or miss. I don't think we've seen enough gameplay of Ronin to think. I think the Turtles one is going to be amazing, but I think this one is just going to be hit or miss. It's not the Tetris movie. It's let me see if I can find it. Also, have you guys seen this? Before I show that. What's this? Oh, piss off. Have you guys seen this? Man, I would love this. I can't afford it, but I would love this. This would be like a Christmas and birthday present all in one. But it's essentially a pair of glasses. It's basically a VR headset in glasses form, and it gives you up to 5 screens. Like with someone with my medical condition, this would be like insanely like. This would be amazing. The only thing I have to question though is the guy when he's at. You know, there's one thing that they did over here. Yeah, here. This guy. My dude is clearly perving at those women. There is no way you're telling me that he is not perving at those women. My dude think he's sly. He's about to get bitch slapped. My take is after buying a PS5, there's no money for a year to buy a game. But yeah, I would love this. Seriously, like, especially like with my limited space, especially because I'm now working from home, that would be something that would like literally do wonders for my health. So it's something that I want to try and save up for. It's a bit expensive at the moment. Mate, you get beaten up like there's no tomorrow in London. You're using this at home and home only. Mate, you sit like this and stare at those girls. You're going to get bloody called out for sexual harassment. But yeah, it's up for pre-order at the moment. It works with the Apple, Android, and Windows. But starting at $949, it's a bit too spicy for me, unfortunately. But I'd love it. That'd be like really awesome. These are cheaper for creeping. This isn't for creeping, man. This is literally just to be able to do work. It's all about the work ethics. I was talking about the. I'll use it in Manchester if I can't use it on London. Hey Andrew, how's it going? You know what? Although I am desperately running out of content for tomorrow, I am going to be doing a bunch of call-ins tomorrow, so we can start having some discussions. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that.
This is Willis, aka.
We can. What's the time? So I'll save this for tomorrow, but this is the video. But essentially, this is what happened.
Blue Scooty setting a new world record for the longest game of NES Tetris by getting the first ever level 157. But something unexpected is about to happen. He just became the first person ever to trigger a game crash, reaching the true kill screen, which is by far the biggest achievement in the 34-year-old history of the Pro Classic Tetris scene. So why is this such a big deal?
Chaos Quantum Error gameplay through is always there when you don't have anything to talk about. Hey, look, I said I'll play anything you guys want as soon as that super chat hits the goal. I said it. I suffered for free once. You guys ain't getting me suffering again for free again. This monkey ain't dancing to that tune. Terminator fashion. Dwayne Morse. What was that regarding? What's that in pounds? 949. About £750. Trust me, Diablo, after what I've seen with Gollum, I'll take Quantum Error. After what I've seen with Gollum, I'll take Quantum Error. I think it connects to your PC wirelessly. It's compatible with your phone, Linux, and Windows. And as you can see here, it looks like it's Bluetooth connection or wireless connection. You may have an allergic reaction. I don't. I wish I did though. But yeah, we can check this video out tomorrow because I think it's a really, really good watch. We can definitely check this out. And there's a couple of topics that I want to talk about tomorrow, and hopefully I can get some of you onto the chat to make sure to mix it up a little bit. But yeah. Don't worry, Oreo. We're almost done. It's not even that. Leaf, as most of you are aware, I am Well, on the 11th of June, on the 11th of January, I find out what's happening with my eviction. So, depending on what's happening after that, I kind of need to save as much as I can right now for the move, the deposit for the new place, and everything else. So, at least for the next 4 months, 5 months, I'm pretty much restricted on what I can do or not do, because, you know, priorities come first. So before that, all of that shit does go down, I'm going to release a video to let you guys know that the frequency of vids are going to go down a little bit, but I'll still probably try to vlog some videos and stuff with my phone until I'm set up again with my internet and whatnot once I do move. But that's still a discussion for some time away. The end gear isn't as good from what I've heard. End gear has a lot of problems. I mean, Helldivers is just a multiplayer game, right? That's all it is. Helldivers is just a multiplayer game. It's nothing more, nothing less. Not coming to PlayStation 5. Okay, don't worry. Pre-order bonus. Stalker 2 suddenly shows an unannounced pre-order bonus as part of its pre-download. I mean, I think Stalker could be the first game to drop. I think Stalker 2 could be the first game to drop. It's looking like it anyway. Wasn't Lost Planet that Capcom game? Worst HDR game in 2023? Of course it is. Not enough. I'll pay for this. Okay, I'm coming. All right, chat. I think that's going to be it for today. It's past midnight, so we'll be back again tomorrow. I'm going to try and go live around 7 p.m. my time, so that is, let's see, 12, about 19 hours from now. That's what I'm aiming for. So hopefully I'll see a bunch of you there, and we can get you guys a little more involved and have some discussions. But here's one for you guys to ponder, because this will be a question that I'm going to be asking tomorrow. Xbox, when it first launched, had, its symbolic game was Halo. When you saw Halo, you saw Xbox. When you thought of Xbox, you saw Halo. PlayStation, though, doesn't really have a central mascot. When you think of games like God of War, Kratos, the first thing that comes to you, I mean, that's to me right now is their most symbolic character, Kratos. Kratos is the Master Chief to Xbox. With Master Chief having kind of fallen from the ranks, does Xbox need that franchise, that game that will symbolize Xbox going forward? And if it does, what game is it? That's the question for tomorrow. Right, folks, I will see you all. Well, it's already tomorrow for me because it's past midnight. Har, 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 har. I live in the future. suckers. I live in the future. Have a good night, folks. And remain legend. I guess you guys want the lottery numbers as well now, right? You want the lottery numbers? Well, you ain't having it. Peace. Later, folks.